Session 40 with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess B, Creative Cardiology. And I've got an exciting project for you today. We are going to make a collage sampler using our winged stamp sets. So I'm using butterflies and dragonflies, and we're pulling in some elements from the Dandy Garden and the Queen Anne's lace, and we are going to put it all on some Hydrangea Hill designer series paper. So we have a lot going on today. I thought it was something fun and something new. Hey Kathy, so I hope you guys enjoy this project today. But because it is a little bit more involved than the cards, I'm just gonna get right into it. So if you're gathering supplies, I'm going to use up some retiring purple Posy cardstock. We will need our Hydrangea Hill designer series paper, and then the inks that go with that are Highland Heather, our gorgeous grape, a little bit of Misty Moonlight in there. You'll need your Dandy Garden Dragonfly stamp set and punch. We are going to pull in the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and the dies. Hey Philomena, hey Diana. Also pulling in, I've got 4 stamp sets here. I know this is a little bit more involved, but like I said, I'm going to use the Queen Anne's lace there. And then a stamp set I've had on my shelf forever and I've never actually used is Very Versailles. I thought I would use the scripty elements and possibly even these ivy leaves here. Oh, hey Luann. All right, you guys are gonna be die cutting and working along with me. That's great. Okay, I'm gonna flip this. We're gonna get right into it. Hopefully Ziggy's not too misbehaved. You can see her right there. Looking at the corner. She wants to go outside, but it's cold. It's cold and breezy today. So she'll just have to wait until till I'm done here. All right, let me flip and get started. Okay, so some exciting things on the Stampin' Up! Home front is that they just announced that tomorrow, which will be March 17th, we'll have a one-day only free shipping flash sale. So definitely want to use my host code here, 6H2ER4QU. You'll get free shipping on all orders of $50 or more, which is an awesome savings and something that Stampin' Up! Has not done in a very, very long time. It's been at least 3 years. Kathy's saying Ziggy probably has spring fever. She does. She's been sleeping most of the day. And of course, she woke up just in time for my video. Hey, Karen, how are you? Oh, they had snow. Oh, and now it's in the 50s. Well, we had 70 last week and then slowly declined, and it's been 20s and breezy here. But this weekend looks good. I think we'll be getting some of that 50-degree weather here in New York throughout the week. Okay, so you can see I have started with an 8x8 piece of purple Posy cardstock. Purple Posy is one of our in colors that's retiring this year. So take advantage of that free shipping sale tomorrow. Get your purple Posy cardstock. Get your 12x12 in color assortment if you want. All of that good stuff. Make sure you've got that because this paper pairs gorgeously with the Hydrangea Hill designer series paper too. It's just a little bit more subtle. We've got essentially the 3 tones, the darkest being the gorgeous grape, and we've got the Highland Heather, and then the lightest there being that purple Posy. So I love how they all 3 work together. Hey Janelle. Oh yes, I'm glad you guys think it's a pretty color combination. So I have pre-cut some of my designer series paper pieces. Like I said, this is an 8x8 piece. And then I've got some silver foil that I am pairing that with. So I've started with 3 2-inch by 2-inch squares of the designer series paper. And we are going to adhere these 2-inch squares to pieces of foil paper that are 2 1/4 inch. So they're just a little bit bigger, gives us a nice contrasting border there. So we're going to do 3 of them at that size. And honestly, I probably should have stamped these first. Well, all right, I've already got glue on this one. So before I glue the others, getting a little ahead of myself here. All right, we'll set the foil aside just so that I can make sure I don't mess anything else up. Hey Kim, thanks for joining. What do you guys think? I've got some new sparkle nails going on. They're almost a pool party color. Little glimmer there for spring. Okay, so let me get our 8x8 piece of Posy out of the way, as well as our silver foil. Yes, without jumping too far ahead, we do need to do our stamping. This is where the whole collage thing comes in. So the good news is these pieces are going to be on the right side. Not doing too crazy much, but we're going to use this scripty piece from the very Versailles. And I will have to look up what that says. I'm sure Stampin' Up! Has that listed somewhere. Can't tell you at the moment, but I'm going to start with a little bit of, actually I'm going to start with my Highland Heather here. And just do a little bit of script on there. Okay, and then make sure, okay, so it's not too crooked. And then I've got a cluster of butterflies. These are dragonflies, whichever you want. These are from the Dragonfly Garden set here. It's a little cluster that I'm going to have flying across. It's a little, you know what, let me grab another piece because that Highland Heather came out just a little bit darker than I wanted it to. So let me go ahead with my gorgeous grape anyways. We'll do that. That way I can see it. All right, that's good. Now with the Highland Heather, let me stamp off first. Actually, I've already stamped that once, so I'm not gonna re-ink it. I'm just going to come in here, make sure I'm straight. All right, see how it's much subtler? The other one was a little bit too dark on that, so this is much subtler. I'm gonna reuse this silver foil piece. So let me peel this off the back here. See? Just a little bit of getting started, but nothing lost there. Okay, and now this other little piece, I'm going to do just a little bit of the wildflowers here from the Dragonfly Garden. And I'm going to stamp that on this little itty bitty edge here with my Versamark. Again, pretty subtle, just kind of coming in the edge. We'll just get that little bit of it there. It's really can't see it until we go ahead and add some powder. So what have I got here? All right, I'm not sure if this is white or a shimmery white that that we had at one point, but it's in a little container here and I think it will go nicely. Let me double check on some of that. All right, so we've got, okay, so current colors that we have are white, clear, gold, and silver. I'm not doing silver. Oh, yeah, I don't want to do the silver at this moment. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead with this shimmery white. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit just to make sure. All right, and I'm gonna sprinkle that right there. Let's flick it a little bit. Okay, so you can see a little bit of sparkle there. Sometimes I think regular white is just a little too bold, and I didn't really want to do clear per se. All right, hold this with something, and I'm gonna try not to make too much noise, but you guys know the heat tool makes a little bit here as we're going. You do want to hold it at least an inch or two above your surface so that you don't burn. Okay, you guys can see it turning there. All right, that looks good. Don't want to overheat that, because if you do that, then that's not good either. So let me come in with a little bit of Highland Heather and a little bit of a sponge. I am going to use these and just gently highlight this a little bit. You could definitely use your blending brushes, although unfortunately blending brushes have been so popular that they're currently unavailable at the moment. But I'm just gonna accent our little flower right up here and then kind of blend it off the edges. Let's go ahead, let's do a little bit around the rest of the edges too, just kind of soften that just a little bit. Okay, so the first piece looking pretty cute. Now it's ready to glue on the silver foil here. I don't know, I just had this like idea in mind. I knew I wanted to use some of the butterflies, but wanted to pair them with the dragonflies. And I had one idea for a color scheme. I don't know, it just wasn't coming together for me. And then I decided, well, let's just keep it simple and do all these pretty shades of purple. Isn't that cute? Yes, and the spongeling definitely helps that color pop from there. Okay, so we got one piece done. All right, I'm gonna peel this off and then I'm gonna glue it back on. I know that's a little bit crazy, but I should not have stuck these down until I was finished working with them. All right, make sure your stripes are going in the right direction. I'm going vertical on these. This time I'm going to use the Queen Anne's lace. So changing it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm not worrying about the stems too much because since this is only a 2-inch square, it's actually fairly small. And I'm gonna come across here. Hey Francis, oh, I'm so glad you caught me live too. That's awesome. Today's program is just a little bit different because I'm doing this collage today as opposed to a card, but I think that's kind of fun. So you caught me doing something just a little bit different here. All right, so I stamped my Queen Anne's lace with the Versamark. Now I'm pouring my powder on here again. And yes, I had put adhesive on there, and that's why it's stuck. So definitely do your stamping and things before you glue anything down. Learned that lesson already. Okay, so we are going to grab, again, you could use your bone folder or your toaster tongs, whatever you've got here, but you do want to gently hold this so you don't burn your fingers. And we're gonna heat this again. And if you are wondering why this is sparkle, it's a shimmery white powder. I realize we don't carry that anymore, but I think it works in this project. It's something I had already in a little dish, ready to go. Okay, get down here in the corner, come on. All right, you guys can see it change. Okay, so one thing with embossing powder, especially the whites, you don't wanna overheat them too much because then it will burn. Okay, so I've got just a wedge of a stamping sponge here. Actually, if you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, the March kit, which should be showing up in your mailbox any day now, comes with a stamping sponge. And to make that go further, I usually cut them into about 6-inch pieces. So, or 6-inch pieces, 6 wedges, like a little pie there. And that way it definitely makes it go further. All right, inking my Very Versailles words again with our Highland Heather, stamping off, and then I'm gonna go right over top of the whole thing here. Okay, and then coming in with my sponge there with the Highland Heather again, and just going around to highlight our flowers, make them pop just a little bit more. And no, it doesn't have to be even all over the place. That's part of the collage effect there. So when you get it just how you like it, we're now going to flip it back over, reapply our Stampin' Seal. And this is going to go on our 2 1/4 inch square of silver foil paper. Okay. Just tuck that in. There we go. Got just a little bit of that paper that stuck. Let me peel that right off so it's not sticking out the edges. Okay. Oops, now it's stuck to my finger. I'm trying to do that one-handed, get it into my little scrap bin there. Okay, make sure we've got that even. With foil paper, you do have just a little bit of wiggle room on there. So we've got 1, 2. All right, now our third piece here. All right, so we need a third piece. Again, these are 2-inch squares that I was starting with. And I messed up the very first one, so I need a 2-inch here. Last one for this side. Okay, do ink up our very Versailles and the Highland Heather, stamp that off. Make sure our lines are vertical, stamping that again on there. Okay, and this time we're gonna do, let's change it up a little bit. Let's do a little bit of our ivy leaves. Again, this is from Very Versailles here. And we are going to emboss in silver this time. So let me, again, we're gonna ink with a Versamark. Versamark is the most awesome for any kind of embossing because you can just use one ink pad. It works for just about everything. So let's just do a little coming off the side with that. All right, let me grab my proper tray. Okay, so you don't want to get your powders mixed up, otherwise that will kind of mess things up. I've got a couple containers open here, so making sure I've got my silver powder. Pour this right along the edge. So this is an actual embossing tray if you really need a formal one. As you can see, you can use just a little disposable or recyclable, I should say, little takeout container or something like that. Works quite well too. I'm gonna leave that open because we will use it some more. And come in here and heat up our silver leaves. Don't you just love seeing the embossing? Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I think that was one of the very first techniques I ever learned, and it still excites me. I love seeing that. Okay, so on these pieces here, now I can go ahead and adhere this also to the piece of silver foil that I had. So the designer series papers were 2 by 2. We needed 3 of them. And our silver foil is 2 1/4. All right, let me show you how this is gonna start to take shape. Make sure we've got, need a little more adhesive on there to make it behave. Okay, so we've got our 8 by 8 square here of purple Posy. Get these in the order that I want them. All right, we're gonna just start with one corner. And this will kind of shape the direction for the rest of the project here. So I want to come in about 1 inch. So make sure we're even here. Okay. And then I'm going to do the bottom corner. So again, when working with a grid like this, I mean, you could specifically measure everything out, but if you do opposite corners, you know, like work to build your frame and then fill in the center, then everything usually works out pretty good. So again, keeping about 3/4 of an inch here. Okay, and then we'll do our middle piece. Oh. Oh my gosh, you guys are just gonna like laugh. You're gonna be like, what is she on today? because, oh my goodness. Again, that's why you do your outsides first. All right. And that's why you don't use super glue, because that way you can adjust as necessary. So, you know, when you watch my videos, not only do you get what to do, but you also get entertainment and learn what not to do on here as well. Okay, so now, now we've got our 3 pieces. Okay, let's do some other sizes here. So for the middle, I've got a piece. Again, these are 2-inch strips, but this one is 3.5, and the bottom one is 2 3/4. So aside from those 3 2-inch squares, the rest of the pieces here, let's just move this, are different sizes. Okay. And with all of these, I do like that very Versailles kind of the background on that. And that seems to be working well, using the Highland Heather and then stamping it off before we actually put it onto our paper. That way it's not too dark. Okay, so do this first piece, stamp it off, then we'll just go right in the middle. Okay, gonna do that same thing. The second piece here, stamp it off, and then fill in the middle. Okay, that keeps it fairly subtle. That's working well, like that. And then on this piece, let's go ahead, let's do some silver leaves on here. So I'm gonna ink up some more of this, move that one out of the way. I'm actually just gonna come right up the center. Again, this is a collage, so there's really no right or wrong to the way you organize your patterns. Whatever works for you. Bring it to your powder tray. Again, you probably don't need to dump out more each time you do it, because a little definitely goes a long way here. Okay, tap that off. And then I am moving my powder off to the side of my desk, because I definitely don't want to, I don't want to melt my whole tub of powder. And I did move my ink pad off to the side. It is starting to pick up just a little bit of that sparkle spray, so set that out of wind's way there too. All right. Oh, can you guys hear Ziggy? Yeah, she's at the back door saying, "Let me out, let me out." Okay. I do like this color combination with our purples and our silver. I do think that's kind of cool. And then let's bring in just a little bit of sponging. Oh, I didn't do any on this one. Let's do just a little bit on here. Just highlight a little bit around those leaves. Okay, let's do this piece too. Right, let's do a little bit darker towards the bottom. Again, just kind of working in the direction of the leaves. And actually that works out good. Had a little bit of a little blurb where the ink pad kind of stuck and got powder where I didn't necessarily want it. So you can kind of disguise that with your with your sponging there too. Okay, so we've got our ink on there. This was, I said, this was the 3.5-inch piece. So we have a 2 by 3.25-inch piece of the silver foil that this is going to go on. All right, so for each piece of designer series paper, we've got a coordinating piece of silver foil that's 1/4 of an inch larger. So the silver foil pieces are 2 1/4 inches, and then the lengths vary depending on what we're doing here. Okay, and then we have the piece that we did our words on there. You know, I'm not really going to do any sponging on that because I'm going to put this gorgeous die cut silver butterfly that I cut from our butterfly Brilliance dies. I'm gonna put that on here. So for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue flat. I mean, I suppose if we wanted to, we could take and just gently, maybe we'll just ink up the edges just a little bit. But nothing major. It's pretty subtle there. I don't like totally want to frame it either, so just a little bit of ink on the edges. Okay. So I'm gonna set these up until I'm ready to go. I've got my piece already die cut with the silver foil. That helps pull it in. All right, so we have 2 final pieces of designer series paper. The first one is 2 by 2 1/2, and the last piece is 2 by 3 3/4. Okay, so again, going to use the very first side with our Highland Heather, ink it up, stamp it off. Make sure your words, even if you don't speak French, there is an up and a down on this, so make sure that your words are going in the right direction. All right, so we'll just gently stamp that on there, re-ink, stamp off, do a little bit on here. Okay, so that's it for the very first side, the word stamp there. We've got quite a bit out of that. We're gonna do a mix and match here. So let me grab my Queen Anne's lace again. And we'll ink this with our Versamark. Okay, this is gonna go on this bottom piece here. And make sure that you do stamp your stems off the bottom. You don't wanna leave it up short. Okay, so I've got that. Gently move my ink pad. I'm going to do this one with that white. We're gonna balance that out because those first 3 pieces up here on the upper right, now we're gonna balance that out and put these here on the lower left. All right, so again, always helps to have, and if you don't have a little dish or something, you could use a piece of copy paper even, and then just funnel that. That works too. Okay, so get that one. And then heat this up. Again, keeping it about 1 inch or so above your surface. Use your toaster tongs to prevent it from flying away and keep from burning your fingers. Make sure we've got our stems there. And then just keep moving in a little bit of a circular motion. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll bring our Highland Heather ink pad back, as well as our wedge of sponge here. And we're going to start kind of working our way up. All right, and then just kind of blend that through. Okay, don't go too far with that. All right, I think that's what I want on this one. So this one, the silver foil is 2 1/4 by 4. Oops, come on here, adhesive. There we go. So definitely good to have a little bit of a scrap, something covering your work surface when you're working with powders and sponging and all of that good stuff. Okay, and then this last piece, I can make sure I've got the words proper. And let's come in, let's do a little bit of our wildflower here. And let's do that. I guess we'll do that with a little bit of, oh, I don't know. I was thinking white powder, but you know what? I think I'm just gonna go with Gorgeous Grape. No, we'll do Full Strength Highland Heather on this one. There you go. Got a little bit of shading going on there. And with this, yeah, I do want more of the leaves and different things on here, so I'm gonna stamp the top flower off. There we go. So we do have a little bit of two-tone. You can see the color variation a little bit. And then definitely do some sponging around the edges. All right, just coming up. Okay, and then yes, blend that off the edge here. Okay, so very subtle. All right, and this is ready to adhere to our silver foil. This piece is 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 here. Okay, so I am done with the Highland Heather and the sponge for now. Okay, and done with that. So we'll bring this in here. We can start to see. And you know what happened is when I did this, I started laying them out without the silver foil, and that's what happened here. So you know what? I'm actually gonna pull these up because I noticed I got some ink here along the side. It could have come from my fingers. It could come from my work surface. Not sure, but I am gently going to peel these up and just flip this over. That's the wonderful thing. Stampin' Up's cardstock, nice and thick, and it has 2 sides. There we go. All right, so let's start again with our first piece. Again, make sure you've got some good fresh adhesive on there. All right. Oh, Luann's asking about the take your pick tool to get the paper. Oh, no. That's a good idea, though, to use your take your pick tool to use the paper that is fallen on the floor. That's a good idea with the little putty end. Yeah, I like that. Okay, this is going to go on this corner. This one on this corner. So instead of an inch, we're actually, let's space this and make sure. Yes, okay, because I wanted about 1/4 of an inch between my frames. Okay, so that looks good. So that means we've got about a 1/2 inch here on the top and the right. That way we'll have a 1/2 inch on the top and the left. So use that as the guide. Okay, make sure we've got that spaced properly this time around. All right, I gotta stand on my tiptoes so I can see above to make sure that we actually have an even row across the top. So this is definitely a cool project if you like shades of purple. I actually had a really neat, I was thinking this would look gorgeous in gold with the Forever Greenery Designer Series paper, and then pull in like the butterflies and dragonflies. So I might have to do that as another project here coming up pretty soon. All right, so let's space these out. This will be the easiest one because it's the biggest piece. So we'll work on this one. That'll help us because If I just jumped to the right corner, then we wouldn't, it's kind of floating off by itself. So we've got this piece here. Okay. I'm actually gonna work across the middle. But I do think having the different sizes, yes, it's a little bit more measuring, but the widths of all the pieces, they're just 2-inch strips cut to different lengths. Okay, so now let's do this bottom piece. Oh, she sounds so pitiful, doesn't she? Do you guys hear little Miss Ziggy meowing? Because I'm not paying any attention to her. Okay, make sure I've got the right spacing there. Okay. All right. Okay. And then we'll do our adhesive here on the middle piece. Okay. Got lots of adhesive on there. And then here we go. All right, so now we are pretty even along the top, the sides, and the bottom. Okay, so we've got that coming together here. Let's go ahead, our large silver butterfly. I intended to go there towards the bottom. So I need to find my dimensionals. Here they are. That's what happened. Try to be a little too organized, and then I lose things. All right, so if you have your minis handy, do that. I've got a dimensional here from a previous project already cut. So I'm gonna use that half a dimensional and place that on the widest part of my butterfly body. And then this is going to go right up the center stripe in the middle here. And I kind of like that. I'm popping off the edges a little bit. Now, let's go ahead. We need some other dragonflies and butterflies. So what I've got here is my Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. I've got it mounted on my stamp apparatus. And I'm gonna ink that all at once here. I've just got a piece of Whisper White that's in there. And yes, I'm gonna go a shade darker. I am gonna go with the Gorgeous Grape for these. Not necessarily gonna use all of them, but as this is one large die cut, I'm just gonna stamp them all. The cool thing is the die is one single piece too, so I can cut them all out at one time, and then I can pick and choose what I want to use on this project and then save the others for later. So, all right, go ahead and squish that nice and even. Let's see. Okay, that came out pretty nice. All right, so I have my die cut platform. Place my die right over the top here. All right, make sure everything is lined up how I want it. Okay. Oops. Sandwich it with the next plate. Yeah, you guys can see how used my plates are. Guess with that free shipping sale tomorrow, I better be ordering some new plates. I guess that's on my list. Along with a lot of adhesive, there's no excuse for me to run short with this tomorrow. Okay. So we've got these. Let's pop these out. And then I've got room here. This was just an 8.5 inch sheet. I want to do a couple of the dragonflies. So I've got this one, the darker one here, and I'm gonna stamp that with Gorgeous Grape as well. Okay. Stamping that perpendicular to the edge, because that way, I think I need a refill for my Gorgeous Grape ink pad. It's not quite as dark as I had wanted, and that way I can come in from the edge of the paper and pop that out. Okay, so let's see here. We've got a bunch of little pieces. Let's see what we want to do. And you know what? I think I'm going to, I almost think I'm going to sponge these a little bit too, just so they're not so stark white. I actually could have stamped them on purple Posy. That might have been good. So let's get our Highland Heather back out here with our sponge. Yeah, it's just kind of subtly. Okay, so I think that's good on that one. This one's got a nice wide back, so you can just use one full dimensional on this one. Okay, let's kind of change it. Have it kind of flying across our card here. And then kind of bend your wings a little bit if you like. And then let's do a couple of little ones. Let's see. So we've got little ones there. Actually might use, what is this? I should probably grab a little bit of Gorgeous Grape cardstock. Let's color these a little bit with our Highland Heather first. I'm actually gonna trim this one a little bit tighter. This one got a little bit too much white. Ooh, Stella on the Dragonfly wings. Great idea, Luann. Okay, that's just what we needed. See, I love stamping with you guys. Put all our heads together and we've got great ideas. All right, just trimming a little bit of the excess that didn't want quite so much white here along my wings. Okay, see? Perfect. All right, so let's do, we need a little one over here. Kind of flying through the leaves there. Yes, I do love the sponging too. It's a lot of fun and it's a good excuse. You get fun and inky and all that good stuff. All right, let's see. Grab this other little one. Kind of have that flying here. Okay, so I've got little ones there. Now let's do another dragonfly. We can change it up. Let's do this one. Swap out my, oops, I need a bigger block. Okay. All right, and my Gorgeous Grape and our, boy, that worked out perfect, having this length of whisper white here for our butterflies and our dragonflies. Love being able to get everything out of one piece there and not have any waste. Okay. Oh, keeping my Highland Heather, I'm going to do a little bit of sponging on this dragonfly too. But that way, kind of bring that right up in here. Woo. Okay. Alrighty. Now, sponge don't break his tail. Come on. He got a little bent. All right. I'm gonna do this one here. And again, kind of coming off. I think I'm gonna kind of do it this way. Kind of going through those silver leaves a little bit. I don't know, I like more of the leaves showing, so let's pull that up. Okay, and you know what, let's just sponge it. I feel like we need a little dragonfly. And then rather than running and getting my gorgeous grape, we'll keep this here in our kind of our Highland Heather color collection. Come on, flip. There we go. That's what that putty tool would be good for. And yes, using another little sliver here. So maybe not quite a full half. This is a skinny little one. If you had minis, you could use one. I'm gonna do just a sliver there across the back. And then let's see, pop that up in here. Okay, so I think that's coming together. We've got stamped butterflies on that one, so I don't feel like we need to add any to it. So what we've got here, I did have some ribbon. I almost feel like, I don't know, do you think we should add ribbon, or do you think that's a little too stark? So I'm torn. You guys let me know if you think I should do a little ribbon down there. Otherwise, I've got my pastel pearls. And the good news is I believe these are back in stock in the online store, which is all good. Oh, let's do a gorgeous grape on here. I kind of like that contrast a little bit. Could do the gorgeous grape and then do a couple of the Highland Heather, kind of this purple posy color. All right, get that, he's all blingy there. And let me grab my Stella. Shake that up. Shake, shake, shake. All right. Yeah, I guess I could color the ribbon. Could grab my purple posy. Let's see. Let's do some Stella first. See how blingy. Let me test this out. Okay. Paint the dragonfly wings here. Okay. And down here. I think we should paint the butterflies too. Whoa, I think I'm running, that's why I was testing it, because I was thinking I'm just about running out of Stella. Time for a refill. We'll do some dainty painting on this little guy over here. Okay, so we've got lots of Stella. We're good there. Let's do a little pearl on each of our dragonflies. We'll do a gorgeous grape, or excuse me, on our butterflies. Kind of tie that in together, kind of like that. That looks cute. All right, let's see here. Luann says a day without Stella is like a day without sunshine. Aw. Okay, so let me grab my purple Posy blends here. And we need, let me get my shears. So this would be about a 4-inch strip. So we need about approximately 2 4-inch strips of the ribbon. This is the white satin with the silver foil. Okay, so brush those. Okay, I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna go with the light Posy here, and I am using the blends as opposed to my markers because with the blends, they are an alcohol base, which means it's gonna dry a lot faster. And that way it's not gonna bleed onto my paper either. Okay, so that's good. That's soaking through. Let's do this one. Good idea you had there, Luann. And yes, this doesn't really take very long. Just make sure. So that's another thing. Maybe stock up on an extra pack of the purple Posy blends. I absolutely love this color. And love that nice pale purple. Okay, I am going to peel this up. I know, but the ribbon really should be tucked behind. Make sure that's nice and tight there. Okay, and guess what? You can still go in with your seal. You can go on there. We'll make it stick. It's all good. All right, and then take the other little piece. And we'll just do a little knot. Okay, I am going to use my glue dots here and stick a knot right behind, stick a dot right behind my knot. Right there at the leaves, so that's a good spot, and that will keep my ribbon from coming apart there too. So let's just touch this up. Okay. Ooh, yes, I'm glad we did the ribbon. I do like that. Okay, what do you guys think? I know, way different. Oh, Valerie from Scotland. Well, it's nice to meet you. My maiden name was Kirk, and my ancestors are also from Scotland. So that is definitely on my bucket list of places to visit in my lifetime. That would be really neat. Ooh, and I'd love to see like the fields of heather. That would be beautiful. Oh, hey, Kayleen, I'm so glad that you enjoyed this. Yeah, so I know we've been at it, we've been stamping here for quite a while, and this is a bit different than the 2 cards that I usually make on my Tuesday, but this project was definitely full of technique. We had a heat embossing, we had stamping off, we had sponging, we had Stella, we had die cutting, coloring ribbon. Yes, we had lots. Is James T my brother? No. Nope, and neither is Captain. Aw. But yeah, this is a fun project. You can see Ziggy. She's like saying enough is enough. I've been ignoring her. Of course, thankfully she can't stick her hiney there in the camera. But but I hope you guys enjoy this, and I thought it was fun. So we used the Butterfly Brilliance. We had some Queen Anne's lace in there, our Dragonfly Garden. Finally used this very Versailles This is definitely an awesome set for collage stamping. We use the greeting as well as the leaves. And yes, I will look up the history on that script so that I know exactly what it is that we stamped on our project. All right, so thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this is an 8x8 finished piece, so you could get an 8x8 frame, and that'd be a cute project for your craft room wall or someone who loves purple. What am I going to do with this? So I'm not entirely sure because, again, when I started out, I had a bit of a different direction in mind, and it ended up all shades of purple here. But I do have some 8x8 frames. That is one thing. If I say the Contraband M store, generally you can get the bulk frames. I think I'll get a white. I might get white. I actually might look and see if I can get like a silver frame and see what that does. But usually you can get those pretty inexpensive. And sometimes even with the smaller size, I could pick them up at the Dollar Tree, which, you know, it works, especially if you're just going to hang it on the wall. Who's really going to look at the frame too much? So yeah, but I'm going to, Ziggy is mouthy. I guess she's voicing her opinion. So I will let you guys know. I'll take a picture when I do get it framed and share that with you. All right, thank you guys so much. Don't forget about the free shipping sale on orders $50 tomorrow. Make sure you get your list ready to go. Stock up on those retiring in colors like your purple Posy. Grab an extra set of your purple Posy blends. Love those. And yes, the pastel pearls are back in stock, so get those and some adhesive too. All right, thank you guys so much, and happy stamping. Oh, Wendy, you didn't miss me too much, but you can go back and watch the replay. I'm sorry. All right, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, hit that bell, all that good stuff. Love you guys. Bye-bye.